Today's a very weighty but important discussion that was a vital piece to the puzzle for Samantha and I. You see, oftentimes in recovery, I really believe that a couple will hit a situation where you, as the betrayed, want to feel chosen. And ultimately, it is true that you, as an unfaithful, want to feel chosen in the relationship as well. And if you're anything like me, as a former unfaithful, you will do everything that you can to try and make your spouse choose you, or make your partner choose you. You see, if you've watched any of my video blogs, you probably understand one of the biggest struggles of my life and recovery has been the fact that I love to control. And early on, when our recovery was very fragmented, and I would say for us early on was a few months into recovery, and up until we finally found expert help. But even when we did start working with Rick Reynolds and start doing the expert help, for the first year, I really struggled with trying to make Samantha choose me sexually, choose me maritally. But the problem was, I was trying to force it. I wasn't trusting the process to allow her to make that choice. And that chasm, if you will, that space is a very difficult, very challenging, very sensitive part of the process. If you try and manufacture that choice on either side of the equation, I would tell you, in our situation and probably in yours, the entire process starts to break down. Probably the most important pillar of this process is leaving room for the spouse to choose you. Now, as an unfaithful, I really wanted Samantha to choose me, partially because I wanted to ease my guilt for betraying her, partly because I wanted her to hurry up, get over it, and move on. Also because I didn't want to keep talking about what made me feel incredibly uncomfortable and full of shame and full of condemnation, because I was making things about me rather than making it about her. So I was trying to rush her and make her choose me, and it actually worked in direct opposition. And maybe you're that way. Maybe you've tried as an unfaithful. You've tried to rush it, you've tried to hurry it, and you maybe wouldn't call it that, right? You've tried to just kind of get things going. But if the betrayed feels rushed or hurried, or if they feel like their emotions, their pain, their hurt is sidestepped, you're going to encounter them not choosing you. You're going to encounter them actually pulling back, wanting safety, wanting boundaries, wanting space. And to us control freaks, we get incredibly alarmed and insecure when the betrayed says that. Now, if you're a betrayed and you're wanting your unfaithful to choose you, you can maybe fire off 5, 10, or 50 video blogs to them. You can try and pressure them. You can try and pursue them maritally, emotionally, and even sexually, trying to make them choose you. The problem is, if you're always pursuing them, you're not leaving room for them to pursue you. You're doing all the recovery work for them, and you are not creating space for them to vet out and process through what they're really feeling. You're not leaving room for them to begin to actually make a choice and say, man, I want him or her. Now, your retort might say, well, look, we're having sex, we're doing all these things because I'm showing them that they need to want me. The problem with that is, if you've not worked through the emotions, if you haven't worked through the complexity of both of you doing your own individual recovery work, if you haven't addressed the 3 recoveries, which is your recovery, their recovery, and the potential recovery of the relationship, what can happen is you, as a betrayed, are pursuing sexually, all these different things, and then within a few months, 6 months or so, you can wake up and be incredibly angry because you've done all the work, and now you're kind of exhausted and you're frustrated, and there isn't this reciprocation on their part as unfaithful, and you're kind of left going, oh, hey, when are you going to pursue me? When are you going to choose me? And when that happens, I can promise you it is excruciating. Today, for the sake of our discussion, I really want to hone in on the unfaithful choosing the betrayed. When you feel chosen, and betrayed spouses, I would love for you to post anything that I don't touch on. I would love for you to add in the comments, whether it be on YouTube or Twitter or affairrecovery.com. I'd love for you to say, well, you know what, Samuel, this also makes us feel chosen. But if you're an unfaithful spouse, let me give you some real good, helpful pointers. You see, when the betrayed feels chosen, they feel pursued. They feel sought after. They feel an extremely important variable, which is desired. They feel like you are willing to make them a priority. They feel like you are willing to own your stuff because you are admitting your failure. You're admitting your deception. You're admitting your confusion, and you're saying, yes, I was a train wreck, but I choose you and I want you. You see, you can't use the excuse that says, well, I'm trying to choose them, but they're such a mess and they're so unpredictable and so volatile and all that. And again, graciously, I have to say to you, why are they the way they are right now? It's probably because of the trauma, the infidelity, the wreckage that has been created because of the infidelity. So when you choose your spouse, even when they're a wreck, even when they're a mess, you're saying, I choose you despite the pain and the hurt and the agony and all the stuff that we're going through. I'm willing to own my stuff. I choose you. Now, the problem is if you rush that and if you expect them to choose you, that's where you miss it. See, choosing your betrayed spouse is a process because right now, they may not believe you. Right now, they may say, oh, you choose me now, fool. Or, oh, yeah, you're choosing me now. Yeah, because you're about to lose everything. I've heard all those things. I get it. As you continue to choose to man or woman up, as you continue to face the music, as you choose to endure suffering, as you choose to endure the pain, the difficulty, the rage, the mood swings, as you endure those things, again, for probably that first year, maybe sometimes two, but it's directly proportionate to the amount of help you've received. If you're still enduring all this and it's been 4 years, something's wrong. If you are doing this and it's been a year, I don't know that something's wrong. They may have been so traumatized, this is the process. But it really depends upon what kind of help you've been using. Now, one of the biggest comebacks is, well, you know what? I'm not ready to choose my partner or spouse yet. That's okay. Choose recovery work. Because if you choose expert recovery work, if you choose to do the work, it's going to help vet out the confusion. It's going to help you begin the process of making a choice for what is best for you, best for your partner or spouse, best for the kids, best for the overall situation. So if you say, I'm not ready to choose, good, that's okay. Choose expert recovery work. Don't choose to say, I'm not ready to decide, so I'm not going to do any work. That's a complete, huge fail that so many people fall prey to. You can do recovery work even if you're unsure about the marriage. In fact, you should do repair work just to see, what are my options? Is my spouse safe? Do they want to get help? Do they want to own it? Do they want to choose me? You see, finally, the betrayed spouse goes through this really unique situation. They feel rejected and they feel betrayed by their unfaithful, but yet they want to be chosen again by their unfaithful, yet sometimes early on they hate you and are absolutely infuriated at you and despise you. Then some days they like you. Then some days they choose you. Then some days they don't want to choose you, but they always want you to choose them. It's challenging. This is what trauma can do to your situation. If you're an unfaithful spouse, choose expert recovery work. Choose to do the work and follow through. And if you feel like you want to choose your partner, choose them, pursue them, own it. In spite of all the pushback, choose them, but don't make them choose you. Allow room for them to begin to choose you because you are proving yourself safe to be chosen.